What happened to your childhood friend? She died of an overdose a year ago. I have not yet managed to completely overcome the mourning. He was killed in action in Quang Tri Province, South Vietnam in 1968. She got married and then she said, well, now that I'm married, friends are not as important. That fucking hurts. So haven't talked for like 8 years and lately she's been reaching out. Went home, we met, and had amazing time just like back in childhood, and found out that looks like honeymoon phase is over. And she's longing for friends. I'm open to it, but we live in different countries now, and we talk but rarely. Nothing exciting. Been friends for 30 years. He still lives in the same house he grew up in on his family's ranch. Going out there this weekend to have fun and go for a motorcycle ride. He's in jail for murder. Last I checked, he works at a bank, has a wife and 2 kids. Honestly, I'm happy for him. His father was largely absent, and a religious his mom's boyfriend was borderline abusive. He made it out okay. I have zero contact with anyone I knew age 18 and under. I feel good about that choice. I like to pretend child me didn't exist except in a strange dream. He went back home to Albania to visit family and was drafted to their military. While he was there, he never came back. I miss that dude. No fucking clue. I just hope that self-important, Hitler-sympathizing douchebag grew up. He's not doing well, afraid of everything, medicated, and not answering his phone. He became a completely different person over the course of a year. It got to the point where I didn't recognize him anymore and had to reconcile the fact that my old friend was gone and decide whether or not this new person was someone I needed in my life. One is still single, became a dental hygienist, and still lives near our hometown. The other got married, had 4 children, got divorced, and now lives with her former mill in a Florida retirement community. The 3 of us meet about every 3 years for a weekend of food and fire pit confessions. One died from cancer, one transitioned, couples deaths of loved ones, one died serving their country as a Marine. Apparently one got in the same line of work and moved from our old hood to a workplace right next door to mine. Small world. I have 2 best friends that I met when I was 5. We are best friends to this day at 32. One's a doctor and the other is getting a PhD and I'm a lawyer. I tried messaging him on Facebook a while ago, but I got one short message back, and that was that. I thought we would talk and hang out, but he clearly didn't want anything to do with me even though we didn't have a falling out. I think I moved. Last I heard, she moved to a different state due to severe bullying because of her last name amongst other things. Her last name was Bud, and I'm almost certain she legally changed her name as well. Kids can be cruel. He moved to LA for college and to pursue the actor dream. We had a falling out a few years back, but apparently he's doing well, even having bit parts in a couple HBO shows. He died from esophageal cancer in his 30s. Probably not the answer you were looking for, but she died when she was 5. She fulfilled her dream of becoming a model. We lost contact for a while, but just because of life, we never fought. We reconnected, and her parents are taking care of my cat, helping me through a hard time. She's never been rude, stuck up, or thought she was better than others. She's been through hell and back, and she's an amazing person. She's the kindest woman I've ever met. And I'm so proud of her. They stopped being a friend. He somewhat randomly decided to explore Africa, and he came in contact with a tribe with little knowledge of the outside world. He ended up living with them and learning their language. They didn't speak English. He now acts as a representative for them and has helped pass legislation that protects their lands. My 2 best childhood friends befriended each other in high school, teamed up with a mean girl, and bullied me. Fun teammates. Not too sure. He moved to Louisiana. Moved back to where I live when his brother was diagnosed with a rare form of brain cancer. After his brother passed away, I have only seen him once in 20 years. He moved to Arizona with his girlfriend. I still maintain a great friendship with him though. He passed away in a car accident 10 years ago. Still miss that guy. Like most others, we grew apart. I used to think it was depressing, but now I invite such change. I wouldn't try to grow apart from current friends for the sake of change in and of itself. She's a drug addict, smokes, alcoholic, has had an abortion. She's 17. Became a pediatrician. He was interested in medicine from a young age. It suits him. We don't talk anymore, but I wish him well. He moved to a different like me, and we don't really keep in touch. They moved away, and we lost touch. She got hit by a car and has lifetime body damage. Been friends nearly 35 years. We still talk, and he lives about a half hour away, but we hardly ever get to hang out anymore because of family commitments and work. No idea. We just drifted apart over time. Didn't help that I moved away partway through secondary school, but I stayed at the same school regardless. We were never in the same class for anything, though. I'd see them once or twice a month at best. And then secondary school finished, and I never saw or heard from them again. We just went our separate ways. One moved, and we never got back in touch. One stopped contacting me after my dad pissed off his dad. I later realized that was a friendship of convenience for our dads, and another one I'm still good friends with today died in a work-related accident about 5 years ago. She's a nurse, just like she always wanted, got married, had a few kids. We're not close anymore, but I still wish her the best. Still my friend. He sells TVs and other high-octane playthings. Honestly, it's the absolute perfect fit for his personality. He got married, and I couldn't be happier for him. We chat about once a year. We grew apart. Took different paths in life. He's too uptight to accept that the path I chose doesn't have to be perfect. Her family made me very uncomfortable, so we got out of touch. He ghosted me. He died 'cause he has a blood cancer. He died when we were children, got hit by a truck whilst riding his bike. My parents told me straight up, I was pretty young, 3-4 years, so I didn't mourn. Which means I guess they wouldn't have had to ease it on me, as I couldn't really comprehend it. They don't know me anymore, or they forgot me. Had cancer, died. We just stopped talking one day. We are 18, I just graduated, so it for a fact she did, 'cause she was always a student. What's ironic is she lives on the next street over from mine, but yet haven't talked to her since 4th grade. She got into a better high school than me and dumped me. When I was 19, I went to the county fair and saw a girl I lived next door to and was friends with when we were 8-ish years old. She was very pregnant. During our catching up conversation, she tells me her baby's father was a 12-year-old she babysat. She became an ableist queerphobe. Called me the R word. Like, yeah, I'm autistic, but I finished my degree. Killed himself a week before I moved back to our hometown. It back in July, and I have diabetic. That meant I had to move out of Kamara, Estonia into Vanavi so I could go to school and be at peace to. But my friend was, you were doing good, man, Marcus. We grew apart once we had different interests and hobbies. Most importantly, we both had different group of friends. Wouldn't have a clue. Moved away. She moved. I chose loser. He chose success and happiness. I had to move away when I turned 18. She became a CNA, had a couple kids, and got married to the guy she was dating when we were in school together. I even lived with her and her mom full-time for a couple years when I was a teenager. We only really communicate via Facebook messages now, though. We keep trying to plan road trips that never really happen due to work, kids, money, or just life in general. Lol. He's doing well. They all became jealous by mid-20s. Probably learned that we're not all the same. IDC. I realized after way too long that the only time he would reach out to me is when he wanted something. Stopped talking to me in 6th grade. Her mom thought I was bossy and controlling in like the 2nd grade, so she asked for us to be in separate classes going into 3rd grade, and so on. Her mom was weird anyway. But we all drifted in grade 5. Eventually I just never saw her again until I saw them at a store a few months ago. Yes. She is now a he. Almost fully transitioned now. One died in leukemia at a young age, one became a worthless addict. And one is pursuing a bachelor's degree in a university where I am also enrolled, and when we stared at each other he just ignored me. Lol. She ditched me for kids her age when I was probably 7, and now she is in college living her best life. Had to move pretty early in our friendship. Didn't really talk after I moved. Have no idea where he is. He took over his dad's electronics business. She's an alcoholic. They passed away in a skateboarding accident. One of them is a warehouse worker a few counties over, and another is currently returning to college to finish his degree. I've been friends with both for almost 20 years. Married well. My best childhood friend became an engineer, but had babies as soon as she graduated college by a guy fresh out of high school that has a drinking problem. We used to catch up every so often, but she took 3 weeks to a month to respond to my texts, so I stopped giving a shit. Haven't even met her kids yet. Oh well. We still talk, but we're not as close as we used to be. We're living in different countries now, and we have completely different lives. But we wish each other happy birthday every year. Depends on which one. My next door neighbor and I haven't talked in years, same with another friend. One friend I haven't seen in years, but we talked about a month ago. One died before she reached 13, who was also my girlfriend. I still talk to some, but most of us just drifted apart.